Tally Stuckle and Rachel Blackmore, Racing's golden duo!
Tiger Roll joins the greats and beats Magic of Light.
Best behaviour on the near side with the wettest of saves for Barry Brown and Oliver McKiernan. Local trainer Derek comes in again and beyond his test. Lord Lyon wins it from...
It's Samco on the stand side before he had the second round. Fahey lands in the lead by half a length and goes on from Samco.
Hello and welcome to episode 13 of We're Going Chasing. It's been a quite enough week since there's been racing. Like we had a obviously busy period there at Christmas and that. Quite enough week, but still bits and pieces happening. A few horses running here and there. How was your week, Elaine?
Not too bad now, yeah. A couple of grade ones there as well. So like Tolworth and the Lawlors down in Naas there Sunday, sure. Yeah, it was a good day out. Like they've great facilities in Naas, in fairness. I suppose it was just a bit of a pity that the Lawlors was turned into a bit of a bumper for a finish. Like, in fairness, like they should really have it on either earlier or later in the card to accommodate the low sun. Like, it was the only race all day that had obstacles removed, and it's the only grade one Naas have all year. It's a bit disappointing. Like, now,
yeah,
you probably would have got the same result anyway, but like it's still a bit disappointing to see it. Like jumps racing,
there,
you know.
Yeah, I see there in the Racing Post they were saying that it's a possibility next year they could put it as the last race to try and eliminate that, but their main priority is to get it on terrestrial television.
Yeah, but like the main priority should be jumping the hurdles, in fairness. Now, like he said he'd consider it. It shouldn't be considered. It should be HRI or Irish IHRB should be saying this is mandatory. Like you have to get it out of the fucking sunlight.
Yeah, but at the same time, and I do agree with you. Like, I don't know if any courses that do that, you know, like, and it's not just a problem at Naas, it's a problem elsewhere. And I know it's Naas is only grade one of the year, but, you know, it's a problem across the board, you know, and while Naas should maybe look at doing something, so should a lot of other race courses, you know.
Yeah, but I agree with that it is a problem across the board, and you see it the whole time this time of year. But like Naas should get their own house in order first and say, right, we've only one grade one on all year round, so we're going to have it, make sure it's perfect. And like if it has to be at 4 o'clock or 3:45, like RT, if RT want to show it, they'll show it, you know, if it's going to be on terrestrial television. So I think that's the best thing there. Like.
Fair enough. Also, just to our listeners, we've started a tipping competition on Twitter. So the idea of it is every week we'll put up a tweet and you have to comment underneath it with one horse that you fancy for Cheltenham. Killian there is putting it all in a spreadsheet. And at the end, so he's compiling all your picks every week. And at the end, whoever's in profit the most or in the least in the least debt will be winning the prize. So the prize is 2 tickets to the Irish Grand National at Fairyhouse on Easter Monday. So just keep an eye on our Twitter page for that. And you have until Friday evening, I think, Killian, is it?
Friday evening, yeah. And if you could include the price with the horse as well, that'd be great. Save me trolling through Odds Checker looking for prices for yokes that are 33 to 1, you know.
So yeah, just keep an eye on that. Also the big news away from the racetrack this week, aside from the actual racing, Davey Russell is back. Yeah. Brilliant stuff. I love it, anyhow. I don't know what you think of it, but and I can see both sides to it. Maybe for himself, he might, like, you know, he retired, he's 43, he's had a few bad injuries, one very bad one recently enough. But you know, if he's happy enough and if it's what he wants to do, then I'm delighted to see him back, because I just love Davy, and particularly around Cheltenham. There's no better man you know, around Cheltenham than Davy, in my opinion. And just to see him coming around the bend swinging on something, I don't mind what it is, you know, whether it's Delta work in the cross country, whether it's conflated in the Gold Cup, wouldn't that be amazing? You know, or something there, Jerry Cologne possibly in the RSA, anything at all, just to see him there having another winner. And give him the send off that he deserves. You know, like, he decided to go out on his own terms and all that at Thurles. But a man like Davey Russell deserves a better send-off than the one Thurles would give him. And that's no slight to Thurles. It's just that's the level that Davey is like, you know. So leave him have a few winners at Cheltenham. Hopefully we'll both be there for the week, myself and yourself, Killian.
We will.
And with a bit of luck, we'll see a Davey winner.
Yeah, because he hasn't actually had a winner in Cheltenham in years. I think it's 2019 or 2018 since he last had a winner in Cheltenham. And it's a
He
pity.
didn't have one last year, anyway.
Yeah, it's a pity Tiger Roll didn't win the cross country, really, and that would have been a great one. Imagine that your last ever Cheltenham winner. It would be unbelievable. Yeah. But he'll get one there in the Turners with Mighty Potter, I'd say. That's the one he'll come swinging on. And
yeah,
you best believe he'll be swinging on Mighty Potter. It's going to be poetry in motion, like.
Yeah, poetry. Yeah, and whatever horse it is, I don't mind it. And while you can say that you know, he hasn't had one in a couple of years, and I know he hasn't had one in the last 2 years. I'm not sure apart from that how far it goes back, but you'll be doing well to tell me a bad variety that he's given around Cheltenham. You know, he's ice cool. You know, he'll pick them off. He's very comfortable being out the back and picks them off one by one. And you know, he's outrun many horses' odds. You know, with his riding style and just getting horses to finish in a position where they probably shouldn't be finishing, and most other jockeys wouldn't get him there, you know. So while he may not have won in recent years, he's still poetry in motion, as you say, around Cheltenham. So look, I can't wait for it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, like you go about Cheltenham and Davy, like there was a couple of years there, maybe like 2016 to 2019, and every Irish handicap horse, like he was going on these, and they were steering jobs, and you see him like came around the home turn about 10 wide and presenting Percy in the Pretemps. And like just cruised up, like Maldini as well, like what's the name, the horse that won the Coral Cup, Diamond King, gave that a smashing ride as well out the back. I remember he said it on a preview night years ago. You need a pair of balls to ride off the pace at Cheltenham, and he had it, and he still has it, and hopefully he'll get another big one. Like imagine Conflated winning a Gold Cup or something, like wow, unbelievable stuff. And that's when you say, right, I'm done now.
And he said that's the horse that he's looking forward to most when he was in retirement. We'll say he was asked, was it Emma Kennedy, I think, asked him, what one horse would he like to ride at Cheltenham this year, and he gave a very definite answer and saying Conflated.
The ride he gave him in the Irish Gold Cup last year, like Jack Kennedy just had to look at the video at Christmas and copy it, like Davey he gave it to him, like he said, here's how you win over 3 miles in Leopardstown on Conflated. Here's the template, go out and do it. And unbelievable stuff, like, and hopefully now it doesn't slow down Jordan Gainford either. That'd be the only worry I'd have, like that he was looked like he was going to be number one there for the next couple of months, and hopefully it doesn't knock him back a peg or two, but I don't think it will.
I don't think it will. Gainford has time on his side, and you know, and he'll still be getting good rides. You know, Dave's not going to be taking Everton, and Gainford could get a couple of winners too, which will be great for him and his development.
That's for sure.
Right, moving on. So, just having a quick look at racing last weekend. In Newcastle, there, a horse who did quite well in bumpers in Ireland. O'Toole probably underachieved over hurdles, but he won on Chase debut.
He did, yeah. He was very good. He was off 130 in a handicap, and he thought he jumped pretty well for the most part. Like I'd say, like I don't know what he'd get if he goes back to Ireland. That was the UK mark, but like I'd imagine he'd go in again. He was high class bumper horse. He split Kilcrut and Sir Gerhard in Punchestown. I know some of them into the season bumpers don't work out too well, but like he's a smashing horse, and he's a really nice big horse too, a nice chaser. Like, so I'd say he's capable of winning again. Yeah,
he was well placed too by Stuart Crawford, really. You know, we don't see that happening. Like obviously in the UK you can take your hurdles marks and take that into account, and you can start in a handicap over fences, whereas in Ireland you can't. But no trainers seem to, if they have one that they think is well handicapped, seem to send them to the UK and take advantage of that. You know, so fair play.
The prize money is shit, that's why.
But look, he still went over, took advantage.
Gone over, he's selected. He was well backed in the day as well, so they might have made a few pound there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, double or triple the winnings. On Sandown then at Saturday, I suppose we had Love Envoy winning very impressively, and then the Tolworth hurdle. You know, Henry's horse that was sent over there, Arctic Brazil, who we both fancied, just never turned up. He has to be better than that.
Yeah, I hope he is, because I gave him a fair few pound there Saturday. I had a sore pocket after that race. Yeah, he was bet after about 2 furlongs. But like if you look at Henry's horses in England this season, a lot of them have failed to fire. I think he's had 9 or 10 runners, and the closest anyone's got to the winning was about 10 lengths. I think Brave Way was third in Cheltenham in November, and like that's a bit disappointing too. Like that's happened, but hopefully he can rectify that issue for March, because there's a number of them there. I'd like to be back in a March anyway. But yeah, to go back to the winner of the Tolworth, Tamuras, Paul Nichols, like yeah, he was off 134. That was his mark. He got £4, so it's up to 138. He's probably like, there's probably a handicap in him now. I don't know, will it be in Cheltenham, but like there could be a handicap in him before Cheltenham, maybe a Betfair hurdle or something. Like I don't know, would he go straight into a Supreme? The syndicate will probably want it. It's the Noel Feely Racing Syndicate, so like they probably will want a runner in the Supreme. I think they were saying that they loved the big day out they got with Love Envoy last year. When she won the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, so they probably will run him in the Supreme. But I don't know. I think off 138, they should probably be looking at a handicap, to be honest, instead.
Yeah.
And then just on Love Envoy, then like yeah, she was fair good now. She's really hardy mare, like especially now with Epatante not being declared for the Mayor's Hurdle in error. Now I know she'll probably be supplemented if they want to run her, but yeah, like it looks like Love Envoy, Marie's Rock, Brandy Love, if she's still alive, those would be the three. But like just touching on a horse, we're actually going to come back to in a second. To Tell Me Something Girl, she was entered in the Mayor's Hurdle after a couple of poor runs over fences. I know she won in Naas on Sunday, but I think a couple of smart lads back tipped her up in our competition for the Mayor's Hurdle at 20s. She's a general about 14-1 now there. So I think Peter Maloney said she could revert to over hurdles, and I'd be very surprised if she doesn't line up there. And like if you look back at the race last year, I thought she was going to win it either backed, and she when she got brought down, she looked to be tanking, to be honest.
Yeah, she did. And I was sweet enough on her that day too. Winkington on Saturday, you've Elixir Do Nuts down on the list, so yeah, I wouldn't have him down. Go on. What do you have to say?
Some performance. He's a 9-year-old now. Like he won the Tolworth Hurdle in 2019. Like he was high class enough, missed a lot of time then, went chasing, didn't really work out too well for him, but he'd first time cheek pieces on there, Upton trip, 2.5 miles, career best on Racing Post ratings. He gave, if you watch the race back, I think it's could be 2 or 3 out. Oh, he stood off it. It was a scandalous jump. Unbelievable. He's got £7. He's up to 145. I actually think I backed him in the Grand Annual last year. He'd be one that had interest me in the plate this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like him. He's high class. Like he was a high class horse. And like 145 might underestimate him now that the cheek pieces have seemed to work. Like he's won by 8 or 9 lengths on Saturday. It was a demolition from the front. Like Brendan Powell gave him some ride, and Brendan Powell from the front is one of the best jockeys over in England. Like it's super stuff to watch.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be gone on him anyway. Rated 145 now after getting £7 for that. He did win very handily there by 7 or 8 lengths. But he's up to 145. It's as high as pretty much he ever was over fences. And he's a 9-year-old. I'd definitely be taking him on in a whatever handicap he runs in. I'd find a better angle on something else than a 145 rated 9-year-old who's sort of probably, I reckon, that's as good as he is. But look, we'll see where he turns up, and we'll talk about it then. Naas then on Sunday, we mentioned Tell Me Something Girl. She stayed on very, she didn't jump at all, but she showed some attitude to get up and win, and I know that Willie's horse made a mistake at the last, but I don't think that mattered. I think she still would have got up, and just the attitude she showed was very impressive, and you reckon now she's gone back over hurdles?
Oh yeah, she's some engine on her. I'd be shocked if she doesn't go back over hurdles. She's a terrible jumper over fence. It was actually tough watch now, that race. Like the 4 horses in it they were shocking. Like I think Gavin Cromwell had a horse in it, Bride's Hill, was second to Journey with Me. in a beginner's chase, she'd have won that if the ground didn't go against her and she ran. She'd have won that race, I'd say. Oh Lord, like it was a shocking display jumping from 4 horses. She goes back over hurdles, I'd say. I'd be shocked if she doesn't. And you give her, like, she's had a very sort of interrupted campaign. Like, she'd beaten the first day, obviously struggled over the line here. Like, you probably want to run over hurdles if you are going to go for the mayor's hurdle. But yeah, she's high class, like, so you wouldn't fully discount her. And like 14-1, maybe she might be a small bit on the short side. But if you got one, then on or no bets, maybe around 10 or 12-1, she might be all right each way.
Yeah. It's actually, the mayor's hurdle is going to be a great race this year.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Very competitive. You know, and we were actually talking about it there off air before. A lot of the races at Cheltenham this year, there's no real bankers. You know, they're very wide open, which is maybe in contrast to years gone by. You'd be looking at the Antepost betting, and there's a lot of very sharp price favourites and a lot of penalty kicks. You've got Constitution Hill, and you've got maybe Energamine. And not even, probably don't even have him like Edwardstone. People will like Edwardstone, and people will like Blue Lord to an extent too, you know. So, but the English should be very hot on Edwardstone. There's not actually many bankers, which is great, you know, and it sets it up for a great week.
It does, yeah. Like, obviously, a lot of people that have Facile Vega as a bankers, so that wouldn't be for me now. Lousy Mouth as well, particularly with Zarak the Brave. He's got colic, so he's had to go for surgery. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll be all right. Because he did look a nice prospect for Willie. So he's not going to make Cheltenham. So like, there is Lousy Mouth will probably be a lot of people's bankers too. But like, that's only 3 or 4. This time last year you probably had 7 or 8. Like, you know.
Or even again, I'd say, yeah. And even like the likes of Alaho, like, who would usually be a banker, just question marks over him, like, you know. So look, we'll look forward to it. You know, it sets it up brilliantly. Appreciated then won impressively, but obviously poor Jack Kennedy. You know, it's a big talking point in that race, and his mount obviously fatally injured as well, but got 5 leg breaks. You know, you'd really feel sorry for him.
Oh, it's sickening. The poor fucker can't catch a break at all. Like, and he was having such a good season as well. Like, I think he'd have probably gone on to win the Jockeys Championship, and like, he's going to have some serious rides in Cheltenham. Like we talked about there earlier, like some Mighty Potter, Conflated, Jerry Colombe, maybe these sort of ones. Like, you know, some really good horses, and now it's probably looking like he's going to miss it. Like, I'd be very surprised if he got back in time for it, but.
A leg break, no chance, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't.
And I'd say, like, Davy wouldn't be coming back if he was only coming back until for the Dublin Racing Festival.
Yeah, that's
back to Cheltenham. You know, the Lawlors bumper at Naas then. What's the mean of that?
Like, Danny Mullins from the front, he's just a different animal, isn't he? Like, he's unbelievable. Yeah. Like, I think, I don't know where we saying it. Like, he went past the winning post the first time, and he looked up at the thing.
I saw that. Yeah.
I don't know. Was you said it to me?
I very well could have been, but I noticed.
Yeah. Someone said it, they were with anyway, and he did it. He did in Cheltenham last year too, in Flora and Porter. Like, looks around to see where the cameras are, so he's there glaring up at the screen. You know, like, it's it's unbelievable race riding. He's a serious man from the front. Like, the front two pulled a mile clear. Like, the first horse, like, looks Ballymore bound. The second horse definitely stayed as well, so imagine he'd go to the Ballymore as well. Then looking back to feel like Grange Clare West, I think he was found to be coughing. He might have scoped bad afterwards, but like, I don't know, he was off the track a long time when he won. Might be a bit of bounce factor there too. But obviously he has the excuses, so we'll see, will he bounce back. But I'd imagine if he does go to Cheltenham, he go to the 3 mile race. He's not as quick as the other 2 horses. And the two JP ones, I know the way you're thinking. I saw David Jennings put him up for the Martin Pipe. He actually could be one, because he did travel pretty well into the race, so and just jump well, so maybe he's one for a handicap. And with Irish Point, the horse there who was second in the race for Gordon Elliott, do you think Ballymore? Because, like, Gordon, like, he likes a horse, a bit of a stayer in the Supreme. Like, Mighty Potter is a prime example of it last year. You know, who stepped up in trip this year. I thought probably should have stepped up in trip last year. But, like, going into the race, you were looking at him, and now he blew up when he got over there. But that's besides the point. Like, he's a bit of a stayer, but you'd be thinking a strongly run 2 miles would be right down his street. Could you say the same about Irish Point now? Because he did see out the trip, and I don't disagree with you there. But
is that the best use of him at Cheltenham? Do you think that intermediate trip or a strongly run 2 miles? As Ruby Walsh always says, you need a stayer to win a Supreme.
Well, we put it this way. Take out Facile Vega for a minute out of the Supreme. I'd be shocked if Irish Point reversed with Marine National. I wouldn't if he with Cham Kiley. So I go to the Ballymore.
Okay. Yeah,
I think
that's
Marine
fair
National,
logic.
Marine National gets better ground in March, and I think he wins by further than he did. He made a mistake at the last as well. I think he wins by further than he did the day of the Royal Bond. I think Irish Point gets better ground in the Ballymore, and I don't know about the jumping. Like, I have no idea how they would have jumped them, but I wouldn't be shocked if he reversed with him. Like, I still like Hermes Allen to win the Ballymore. I think he does look a really good horse, but I think Irish Point could reverse with Cham Kiley.
Yeah, fair enough. Then Hunter's Yarn won the maiden hurdle, a nothing race, beat nothing. What do you make of him? Do you have any strong opinions on him?
Yeah, he was third to the big the big Dian and Nucky Johnson the first day, and then he's won this. Like, I'd say he's won for a handicap. Won't be at Cheltenham because he wanted 4 runs, but could be one for like a 2 mile novice handicap in Fairyhouse or something, or somewhere down the line in the spring. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he's a graded horse, like, but I'd imagine will he keep him to handicaps now that he's been beaten the first day and he won a bad race. His mark won't be astronomical when he does get one.
Yeah, very, very fair. And then finally, I suppose, just one that caught the eye at Doncaster on Tuesday, Willmount won his first start in a bumper very impressively. There was a lot of talk about that horse too before the run. And no, he was really pushed out, but he must have won by 10 or 15 lengths in the end.
Won by 13 lengths, I think. Yeah, he's a fair touch now. That was tough ground too there in Doncaster, real testing ground. Like, I actually was looking at him in the morning. He was like 6-4, and I was saying, geez, a bit skimpy. I looked up Neil Mulholland, then he was 0 for 30 in his last 30 runners. I was saying, Jesus,
God.
This lad actually could be in bother here. Like, he's obviously a very good horse, cost £340,000. Like, and I said, this like could be. Yeah, and I saw he won the maiden hurdle then with a horse called Feel Good Inc. So I said, I looked into him then. I said, maybe might be turning the corner a small bit here. Horse drifted out to like fucking 11-4. I was like, all right, sound, thanks. And hacked up. Like, it was Jamie Moore's only ride as well over in Doncaster that day. And geez, he looks very good, yeah.
Yeah, he does. And that Feel Good Inc. actually
wasted in bumpers though, like, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go novice hurdling now, like.
Yeah,
it's too late in the year, like, to keep his status for next year. But it's a pity he stayed in bumpers. Like, could have.
Yeah, I actually saw Feel Good Inc. At Doncaster in his maiden hurdle. That was over 2 miles 5, I think, and you know, he was actually quite impressive. He stayed on. He was getting maybe niggled along earlier than the others, but once he was pulled wide in that, he just stayed plugging on. You know, and showed a great attitude for it. You know, he obviously fell in a point-to-point down in Waterford last, I don't know, it was February or March. I was looking at his form, but he looked as if he was going to win the race that day. You know, and the form of his bumper actually has worked out as well. So he's one that I'd be looking at when he stepped up in trip. You know, maybe he'd be one for handicaps or that, but you know, he definitely showed a very good attitude, and it was a lovely double for Neil Mulholland on the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so we'll move forward to this weekend. What do we have? We've Fairyhouse on Saturday, and we've Punchestown on Sunday, and then we've a bit of race maybe at Wincanton and Kempton as well over in the UK. So we'll start with Fairyhouse, a nice 4-year-old hurdle, a Blood Destiny, Common Practice, Newsret is there as well, and great old Davy has his first ride back.
Yeah, he does. Jeez, it's very quick Saturday coming around. He's on a horse for Gordon, Jazzy Matty. He'd have a chance, I suppose, like, in it. I like Blood Destiny, to be honest. Thought he was very good in Cork. Like, it's a decent race. Like, Common Practice, very good horse. He ran in that grade 3 that Lossiemouth won in Fairyhouse. Newsret won very well on debut for Joseph as well. Like, Joseph does really well with these juveniles too, doesn't he? Like, he's his great record with them. I'd find it hard to take on Blood Destiny now. I think Common Practice might be one for a Boodles, but He probably won't run in the Boodles, but I think Blood Destiny looks the one here, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. I'd probably be hoping now just for Davy, it'd be great to have a winner
it would, yeah.
first time back on his second debut at 43 years of age. Then the Dan and Joan Memorial Grade A Handicap over 2 miles, always a great race to watch.
Yep.
You've done Vegan there, top of the weights, Andy Dufresne, Epson the Hoof, and the Blues is always thereabouts. He'd probably be thereabouts again rather than there. And then Silver Class is running from out of the handicap. She beat Magic Days in Fairyhouse by about a length on her last start. It wasn't her last start actually. She was pulled up at Leopardstown since, I think, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah.
But that'll be a great race again. Do you have any fancies there in it?
No, I don't really. But Robert Tyner is a horse down the bottom of the weight there. Big Debates won his last 2, going for the hat-trick. It's probably a horse that's improving, so you wouldn't be shocked if he ran a big race. It's very high class too. Like, you've done Vegan there 158, like Andy Dufresne 155. So it is a high class race, in fairness. So it's good to have it anyway at Fairyhouse this time of year. And then just another horse running on the Saturday, Corbett's Cross. For Eugene O'Sullivan, who won a maiden hurdle in Limerick Christmas, his mark of 130. He's actually been bought by Paul Byrne, that owned Noble Yates before he sold to the Whaley Coens.
The blue colours, light blue colours.
Light blue colours, yeah. So he's bought that horse. He's still with Eugene, so I don't know if he's plans to go to Emmett or anything, but yeah, he's normally a fairly shrewd customer, like his buys normally do go well, so you wouldn't be surprised to see this horse go well. So that's sort of Saturday in Fairyhouse. Then in terms of Sunday, then obviously we don't have the declarations yet, but there's a couple of good graded races. Moscow Flyer. It looks a weak enough for Newell. It's never that strong though.
Very weak, very weak. So the Moscow Flyer there, it's a poor race really. Ampere Pass 5-1. Imagine 7-2. Tax for Max 6-1. Like, Imagine I don't like Tax for Max is a monkey. The Model Kingdom 7-1. Ampere Pass just goes and wins it, really, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I'd say he'll win by 100 lengths. I think it's as simple as that, and move on. He's like, the lads that are taking Skimpy Price and Facile Vega, be warned, like this yoke could be serious. Willie uses this as a supreme trial. This isn't a Ballymore trial for Willie. Like, this horse will win. This horse wins, he goes to supreme. Like Vautour, Min, Duvan, Dysart Dynamo all won this and went to the supreme. So be very careful at your 4-6 on Facile Vega, because you could have 2 horses to beat him, including Marine National and this fella, if this lad does hack up. So that's all I'd say on that.
Yeah, no, he always targets this race. Willie does. The last couple of years, not so much. Maybe last 2 or 3. I know you mentioned Dysart Dynamo there, but look, time will tell on that. Moving on from that, so we've obviously got the Grade 3 Novice Chase there as well. Impervious is actually, the mayor is giving away £1 because she won a graded race. So you'd imagine it would be tough for her now to follow up under new ownership, JP McManus. You've the Goffer there as well entered, who's also got an entry over in the UK that we'll talk about. Manila Crooner, Gentleman's Game, Journey With Me. I presume only one of those Robcore horses will run. I doubt to be running them against each other at this stage. It's a good race. It's a good Grade 3.
It is a good Grade 3. Yeah, obviously Bob Ollinger won it last year. He won a Grade 1 since. Capadano was second. He won the 3 mile Grade 1. And Punchestown then, Lifetime Ambition, really good handicapper, was third, I think. So it was a good race last year. It's a good race this year. If Impervious wins this, go and collect in the Mayor's Chase. Like, she's able to give £1 to the likes of A Journey With Me or Manila Crooner or Glengooly, even like Hat Door. Like, she gives all these £1 and beats them well, she'll win the Mayor's Chase. Don't care about Allegora Devassi. Like, Impervious, I would have thought was a nicer mare anyway, but I'd imagine Journey With Me will run and Gentleman's Game won't. He'd have ran more recently, so I'd imagine just on that basis. Manila Crooner was entered in Warwick as well. It's over 3 miles. He mightn't even run here. Like, 2.5 miles is going to be fair sharp for him. I don't think he'd lie up with these over 2.5 miles, to be honest.
Either do I know. I think he needs 3 miles.
And the Goffers in Warwick, so it will be probably only a small field. Like, You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I think Impervious will win.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. She'd be a fair mare if she does. We'll give her that. Kempton then on Saturday, we've a grade 2 there, the Silviana Conti, grade 2, Pictori 6-4, Paint a Dream 5-2. Paint a Dream won a handicap as easy as could be of quite a considerably high mark.
154, yeah.
154. What is he now? 161, is he?
160.
160. So that'll be quite an interesting race. And then also you've got the Lanzarote hurdle at Kempton, Green Glory. What do you reckon, Killian? You couldn't shut up about him a couple of weeks ago, and he followed up for you. So what are we thinking now?
I think he wins again.
He wins again. If Charles, I'm just waiting for the line. If Charles wants.
Why wouldn't you not want to win the Lanzarote?
Yeah.
Like the first day out, fair enough. You mightn't have got your money down, but he'd ample time to went from 4s went off 7-4. Getting off on at 7-4. Like he's up £16. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. He got 10 off the Irish handicapper, and the UK handicapper has thrown him another 6. It won't stop him. It'll just slow him down. Yeah, he'll win it. Like you see, Outlaw Peter there, second favourite. Not a hope. He's not up to his level, and he's giving him £3. I don't think there's anything in the race that I'd really fear I'm on Green Glory, so at 13-2. So I wouldn't really fear anything there, to be honest. But just going back to the Silvian Echo Conte, one horse there. If he went out a small bit bigger in price, I'd take a chance on him. Angel's Breath, for Sam Thomas, off the track since December 2019. But he was high class enough. Like he was rated 1. He was off 150. He won a grade 2, a 2-runner race. He beat First Flow by 8 lengths in Ascot in a novice chase, hammered him. Like he was 7th in a Supreme, 3rd in a grade 1 at Aintree over 2.5 miles. He is fairly high class horse. Like I think he won. Did he win a? Yeah, he won a grade 2. Won the Kennel Gate on debut. As well. Like he was formerly trained by Nicky Henderson, but he's about an 8-1 shot there. Like he's getting weight off Pictori. Pictori will be hard to beat, but yeah, you wouldn't be surprised. Like sometimes a horse can run really well on the first run back off these monster layoffs. And Sam Thomas actually entered him in the Ryanair in the Gold Cup as well. So he must be doing something right at home.
Yeah, and then briefly, Warwick, we've got 2 nice races there. We've the Classic Chase, ran over 3 miles 5 furlongs, and then we've a 3 mile grade 2 as well that we mentioned the Goffers running, and I suppose we've one Irish raider here in the Classic Chase as well, Mr. Incredible, who was brought down in the Paddy Power Chase at Leopardstown after such a big job it probably was to get him running, because the last couple of times he ran before that, he refused to race, and then he was pulled up because he stopped running in the middle of the race. But there was a lot of money for him that day. Yeah, he went off 7-1 after maybe 12s or 14s earlier on in the day.
He was 14s in the morning, I think.
14s in the morning. So he's favourite now for this at Warwick. And God, I just hope he runs. It's a long way to go.
It is a long way to go, and he's actually been punted as well. He was 10-1 this morning. He's half the price now. He's 5-1, and Paul Byrne owns him as well. Like he's no fool. He must, like, the horse was moved from Henry's to Willie's, I understand, under the same ownership, and Paul Byrne since bought out the owner. So he must have been doing something right or very, very wrong that the owner wanted to get rid of it and Byrne took a chance. I don't know. But he's been back now both days he's ran. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran well. Like he's obviously he's very talented, but he's just a bastard. To put it lightly. Like it is a good race though, like 300-5 heads the weights. I Will Do It hasn't ran since he won the Welsh National Christmas 12 months ago. He's about 9-1 shot for Sam Thomas. Lord de Menil's in it. He's just a pure plodder, loves the heavy ground. I know you like him. You've always liked the horse. So like he could run well in it. And then the JP horse at the top, Guatapon Cologne, for Charlie Longston, like he's improving as well. He's won his last race fairly handily, got £6. He's off 10 stone 3. He's 5-1 joint favourite. He'll probably run well if the money is down, you know.
Yeah, right. So that brings us on to the final segment of the podcast. Just, I suppose, our Cheltenham Antepost picks. It's my turn this week, and I had a good look at it. And one that I've landed on is Chemical Energy in the National Hunt Chase, because I think he's great value at 8-1. He obviously won at Cheltenham there towards the end of last year and won very impressively. It's a race that Gordon always targets every year, and he's got a great record in it. Jamie Codd was speaking actually today. I saw quotes about Chemical Energy, and that like he thinks that he'd be a great ride, that if he does go here, like, you know, he'd be delighted to be riding him basically. And if you just look at the market, like, it's going to, this race often falls asunder, and I think it's going to fall asunder again. Gaillard de Menil 6-4 isn't going to go here, I don't think. He's RSA bound. Jerry Colombe, RSA bound. Imagine he's too much class to be coming here. You know, he's won a grade 1 over 3 miles. So why
2.5 miles, yeah.
2.5 miles, exactly, and the 3 miles will only suit him again. So I can't see him going here. Classic Getaway won't go here. Gentleman's Game won't go here. You know, and then you're down into Ballygriffin Cottage. You know, he'd have his measure. Gerricott for Rock, who I didn't actually know. I had to Google search before this podcast. Never even heard of him. David Pipe trains him, 7-year-old. He's not going to win. Hollow Games isn't going to be there, like, you know, and all the others then are 16, 20-1. You know, so I think 8-1 on Chemical Energy, like, he has to go off shorter than that. That's going to fall apart. He'll probably be your favourite, and he'll probably be shorter than 3-1. You know, so I think that that's actually a great value bet. So that's what I go with for this week. And just one final thing, Killian, for Cheltenham Racegoers. A bit of bad news now. I know ourselves going over every year, we always enjoyed Club 21 or the 21 Club, whatever way you want to put it. Now, I know a few lads who were over there in November. I wasn't there myself. You were there, and they had a sign up saying that it was closed for refurbishment. I had a look at their social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them inactive since May of last year. They said in May of last year they put out a statement saying that they'd be closed for a couple of weeks. And there's been no further updates since. A couple of weeks doesn't really sound right to me now when we're in January. I know, speaking to you, when you saw it was closed, I asked you, was there much action there? There wasn't much action there.
No.
I've tried calling them. Their phone lines are cut off. I've tried emailing them. Their emails are bouncing back. You know, and I even took another step further today. I called other businesses in Cheltenham in the locality to try and find out. And it was late enough now this evening. There was very little places open. I called a beauty salon. I'm sorry to the poor girls to be annoying them after 6 o'clock on a Thursday evening, asking them about a nightclub across the road. But one business did tell me that they're almost certain that it's shut for good, or certainly at the very least it's not going to be open this March. So that's a huge blow for anybody who goes to the festival there every year. It's a very popular spot. You'd often bump into lads there. I know the Shark was there, say last year, every year. You know, probably 5 or 6 drinks in each hand, big jugs of hands, like, you know. And you know, it's just a big pity if that is the case, and it seems to be the case by all accounts. So look, don't exactly quote me on it, but unfortunately it looks as if there'll be no 21 Club this March.
Yeah, it's horrible news, but I suppose if anyone is able to buy shares in Pop World, I'd say purchase away, because lads will be going there. The Queen's and the Pop World.
Yeah, and the Queen's Hotel is a great spot.
Oh, yeah, it's a brilliant spot.
And we never went there until last year. Last year was our first year trying there, because we were always we were loyal enough to 21 Club. But Queen's, we went there on the Thursday and the Friday last year.
Yeah.
Great crack. They have an Irish band in there, and the songs they're playing you wouldn't expect to be hearing in England. Let's put it that way. And you know, just a great crack there. So I suppose they'll be the two main beneficiaries of the 21 Club closing.
Well,
but look, that wraps up our podcast for this week. Again, don't forget the tipping competition. You have until Friday evening to put in your horse for this week. Killian will record in the spreadsheet. Don't forget to stick the price on it too. Save Killian doing a bit of work. He doesn't like work. So look, lads, enjoy your weekend, and we'll be talking to you next week. We'll see.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.